Hi and welcome back. Today we're making a chocolate cake, which is a very moist chocolate cake. This cake can be used for a basic birthday and stuff, not for stacking or not for using under fondant, because it's a very moist cake and it cannot take weight on it. So first things first, you need to preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius, and we are using two cake pans here, and we bake two cakes of the same size, and then we're going to stack it. I'm going to demonstrate how to stack it with a little bit of filling and frosting on top. Can be done for a basic birthday at home, wherein you don't have to go out and buy a cake. You can just do it at home. So first thing is that you have to butter a pan, grease it with butter and line it with parchment paper. So I have done it for two 8-inch pans, so that once this is, keep all these things ready so that you're not in a hurry and otherwise you tend to mess up when your things are not ready. So the ingredients, I will go through the ingredients with you, and this recipe is quite easy to follow because all you have to do is mix up all the dry ingredients and all the wet ingredients, and what we do is mix the batter, the dry and the wet together, and then put it into two pans and bake it. So it's a very simple it's very simple to follow. So here I have all-purpose flour, that is 210 grams of all-purpose flour. I have cocoa powder. This is Dutch processed cocoa powder, which gives the dark color. The normal cocoa powder will be lighter in color, so I always prefer to use the darker one. Your chocolate cake will look much darker and taste also much better actually. So you have 75 grams of unsweetened cocoa powder, Dutch processed. You have 400 grams of caster sugar. You have 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt, and 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. So what I'm going to do is, these are our dry ingredients. I'm going to put all of them into this bowl here, all the dry ingredients together in one bowl, and then so the baking powder goes in, baking soda, and then the salt. So all our dry ingredients have gone in, and now just whisk it to make sure that all the especially the leavening agents, the baking soda and the baking powder, are mixed in with the flour and the cocoa powder. And we have mixed our dry ingredients all together. So we keep this aside and we move on to our wet ingredients. Now here it is a little different from all the other cakes. Usually for all the cakes we beat the butter and the sugar first and we cream it properly, and then we go into the other ingredients. But here what I'm doing is, I'm putting all the wet ingredients into the bowl. Here I have 240 ml of buttermilk. What is buttermilk? Here I'm using 120 ml milk and 120 ml of yogurt. I'm just mixing it up. So I don't have to get the ready-made buttermilk, I can just make it myself. Then I have coffee here. This is 140 ml of 150 ml of strong coffee. How did I make it? I just took 150 ml of water and added 1 huge heap tablespoonful of coffee powder into it, and that's my strong coffee mix going in. Coffee brings out the flavor, the chocolate cake brings out the flavor in the chocolate cake, and it also gives a very strong color to it. Here I have melted butter here, which is again 140 ml of melted butter. You could use 140 ml of oil if that's, but I don't like the taste of oil in my cake. I prefer to use butter. So that is 140 ml of butter gone in. Then I have 2 large eggs at room temperature. So the eggs go in, and finally for my wet ingredient I have 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. Try and use good quality vanilla extract, and that's it. So all our wet ingredients have gone in. So I'm just whisking it all together. So that's our dry ingredient and our wet ingredients. Now that we have our wet ingredients and our dry ingredients ready, all I'm going to do is I'm going to mix both of them together here in the bigger bowl. You could use a hand beater to do it, but I'm just whisking it with this. I've put it all together at once. I'm just going to mix it. It's going to be quite a thin batter, and this is not a cake that will rise really high or have a dome on top. It's going to be more of a very evenly risen cake. Just make sure that there are no lumps, so that, and it's evenly mixed. You can see that the dark color is basically because of the coffee and the Dutch processed cocoa powder. Now we have a very even mixture here. You got to be really strong to do this, that it's a very runny batter, but not to worry, this batter is supposed to be like this. And we're going to pour it into two 8-inch pans equally, so that we have 2 layers of cake, and better when they are layered. You can use a measuring scale to, if you want to be very sure about the weights of both the cakes. So our batter is in 2 pans now. As you can see, my oven is preheating at 180 degrees, and I'm going to pop it into the oven. It will take about 45 to 50 minutes for them to bake and be ready. So our cakes are in the oven baking, and in the meantime we're going to prepare the ganache. We are going to be frosting and filling the cake with chocolate ganache. And how do we make chocolate ganache? Chocolate ganache is one of the best fillings or frosting that you can have, because it is made out of just chocolate and cream. How do we make it? Now, for a consistency to fill in and frost a cake, you need 2:1 ratio. If it's 2 chocolate, 1 cream. So here I'm using 300 grams of this is dark chocolate beans. So this is 300 grams, and this I have used 150 grams of fresh cream, double cream, thick cream. Okay, so what we're supposed to do here is, you can either do it on a double boiler where you melt the chocolate and the cream together, or what you can do is heat the cream until it starts to bubble slightly on the sides and it starts heated up well. You pour it onto the chocolate and wait for the chocolate to melt. But the easiest way is to just pop it into the microwave. 5 take a break in between so that the chocolate doesn't get burnt away. So what we do is we pour the cream on top of the chocolate like this, and then just pop it into the microwave and keep stirring it, and you will get a beautiful ganache. I've put it into the microwave, and I'm going to warm it for 10 seconds first. Okay, now the chocolate is still not melted. Here the chocolate has started to melt, so I just keep stirring it in until it is all melted, but I can still see lumps, so I think I have to put it into the oven or into the microwave once again for another 10 seconds, and then it should be an even mixture. As you can see, we have got a very shiny dark chocolate ganache here. Allow it to sit for about half an hour and it gets kind of spreadable consistency. Now this is a little thin and runny consistency, so it's difficult to apply on a cake. So what I will do is I will allow it to sit for about half an hour, and then I will pop it into the refrigerator for about 5 minutes, and then you will get a very spreadable kind of a consistency for the ganache. Cakes are out of the oven and have been cooling for some time now. So We will now stack the cakes, and the ganache is ready as well. So I will just show you how to assemble the cake. Have a look at it. This is a turntable. A turntable is helpful when you have to ice or when you have to stack. This is a cake board. I'm using a 11-inch cake board here. Nothing to be very precise about. I'm applying a little bit of ganache on the base, and I'm going to put my first cake down here onto the board. So as you can see, the cake is here. Just put it into the middle and take off the parchment paper. It's a very moist cake, as you can see. And then I'm going to put some ganache on top of it here. It's a little too soft, so you can see that the ganache is pushing the cake down. So I just apply the little bit of ganache here. Depending on how much you want the ganache thick inside, it's okay to put a little thicker layer inside. So you have one layer there, and you're going to put your next cake on top of it. Put your next layer on top of it. Also take off the parchment paper and try and keep the cake in the middle. Okay, now you can see. I'm just going to again some ganache on top. You can decorate the cake. It is your creativity how you want to decorate the cake. I'm just doing it in a very basic way of decorating. It's just dirty icing it. Okay, so you can see I have applied icing on the top. I've taken the rest of my ganache into a piping bag with a star tip nozzle here, and I'm just going to pipe some swirls on the sides just to make it look. You can see it looks really dark chocolate and shiny. This is a very dark chocolate cake for those who enjoy chocolate. And if you want, now this is up to your creativity how you want to have the swirls. Okay, so those are the swirls there, and now here I have some nuts to go with it. I'm very fond of nuts, so I just use anywhere and everywhere I get a chance to use nuts, I just use it. So you can decorate it the way you want. It's up to your creativity and up to your liking, whatever you want to use in your cake. Melted some chocolate and added some nuts to it, so I just could get some kind of, this is, you can see the chocolate cake is ready now. If you have strawberries or any kind of berries at home, decorate your cake with strawberries or with raspberries. It looks really nice because the contrast of the chocolate and the red color looks really awesome. Chocolate shavings just to sprinkle on top, decorate your cake. So this is now we cut the cake that you dip your knife in hot water, wipe it off and then cut so that the crumbs do not, otherwise it gets messy when you cut the cake. So dip your knife in hot water, wipe it off with a kitchen towel, and then we cut the cake and see how it looks from inside. If you keep the cake to chill for a while, it will be really nice. As you can see, it's really, the ganache is actually melted. If you like this, try it out. It's a very chocolatey cake, very moist and very delicious. Try it out at home and see how you like it. So that's all from me for now. I hope you will try it, and please give your feedback in the comment section. Thank you for watching and enjoy baking.